am Lincoln High School class of 71.
Yay!
Now, let's have the Lincoln High School people raise their hands. All right.
Well, let's stand up. Stand up,
And
guys.
71, anyway, yeah. These are the last people alive. In Lincoln High School. We get a list every year. It's not bad. During my senior year of high school, my parents, my father got transferred, and I said, I don't want to leave high school. So Steve said, you can live with us. And he went, he asked Rose, his mother, and Bill, his father. I said, yeah, sure, yeah. So I lived in their den on a little bed right by the kitchen from my senior year of high school. So I spent every day with Steve, which was no different than the year before, because I considered him my best friend, and I think there's probably a lot of people who considered him their best friend. He was that kind of guy. You wanted to be attached to him, and. To know Steve's dad, Bill.
Yeah.
To know Steve. Let me tell you something. Bill, the apple did not fall far from the Bill tree. Okay, Bill was not a skinny man, okay? And he was not a tall man, but he was the first person, not my father at all, who he'd have his shirt off outside with his stomach hanging out, and he'd be watering down the car, and he'd be, washing the driveway, raking the leaves, and you'd come up and go, hey, Mr. Scagliotti, and he would somehow every day find the thing you were most insecure about. He would go, hey, Steve, hey, my God, you wearing your mother's shirt? He just knew. And Steve learned very well from Bill. And his mother, Rose, who is the exact opposite of Bill. She was quiet, dignified, classy, wouldn't say anything to hurt you, where Bill and Steve both, they just wanted to stick the knife in and he twisted, and you got tough being his friend or being around Bill. Bill would get up at like 5 in the morning to go to work, and I was right there in the den next to him, and he'd be in there having breakfast, and I, being not real bright and not knowing my place, would go, hey, you guys, I'm still trying to sleep. and Bill would say, get the hell out of here! What are you doing? It's 5:15. Okay. But Rose, I was saying to somebody else, this was 50 years ago, 52 years, I don't know, a long time ago. And she made
French toast.
French
toast.
Thank you. I was going to say French fried potatoes. French toast, and she would put like a teaspoon of vanilla in it, okay? And I've never had it any differently since then. 53 years later, it was I urge you all to try it. And then we graduated. We spent our time listening to like everybody. I'm not telling you anything new. Listening to music, talking about girls, racing our cars, until we got caught. And just, doing the things you do in a small town in the 70s. I remember him playing the drums in the middle of the field. I remember him throwing those things down. And even at the time, I thought, oh my God, he's so happy this is over. It's been such agony. And he would always let you in on it. He always knew how Steve was feeling. He would not hide anything. And you could not hide from him. And then I went away and started living my life, and he started living his life. And as we have been told, you never, if you want to hide, okay? I could have been in the witness protection program. I could have had a different identity, living in a different country, with plastic surgery and a mustache. And he would have found me, okay? And he found me, and I sort of wanted to leave those old days behind. I went through that period, but Steve was always there. He would call me, and we would talk I would listen for an hour. And I really believe that he had a photographic memory. Because I defy any of you to tell me he knew more about me than I knew about myself. He remembered things that I could never remember, especially as the years went on. He remembered everybody at our school, everybody he's ever met. I really believe he had a gift for that, and I'm sure it helped him in his sales career. I'm sure he never forgot a client, I'll tell you that. But the one thing is somebody said something about his controlling. Every time there was a reunion, Steve, I never wanted to go to the reunions. I was a real stick in the mud kind of guy. And Steve would say, no, you're coming. You're coming. And he'd call me, the reunion's coming up. You're on the list? The reunion's coming up. And then I said, okay, I'm going to come. And he'd go, okay, we're going to go stay at this hotel. And we're going to stay in a room together, you, me, and Barry. And I think one of us is going to have to sleep on the floor. And I said, Steve, wait a minute. I'm gonna get my own room. I don't want to share a room with two other guys. I'm sure you snore. I'm sure Barry snores. And he said, Kirk, we're going to get a room. We're going to have two people on the bed, and one person's going to be on the floor. And that's, I didn't make it to that one. But that's what would have happened. Or once we were going to go to Barry's house and sleep on the floor in his room. He always had us on the floor. He didn't want to pay for 3 hotel rooms. It was very thrifty. And then I went to see him about a week and a half before he passed. And he was still, he knew what was going on. He was having a little bit of a drip. But he put his arms around me and he hugged me and he laughed and he talked. And it was like we were back in high school. He still had the same vibrant personality. He was so funny. He found life so funny. I'm sure he found everything until he couldn't think anymore, amusing and interesting, and probably would have stories about it if we could talk to him now. And I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the calls. I'm going to miss talking to him. And I think the world will miss Steve Scagliotti and people like him.